Welcome back to another new session. I hope all of you are doing great and introducing yourself to a new topic today. We have entered the last topic for the session of the chapter called Financial Markets. So what is that we are going to be discussing today? We are going to be discussing a very important 8 marker when it comes to scoring in your exam. That's SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India. So it would be asked for a 1 marker, and it would be asked for an 8 marker, or it can be asked for a 4 marker. So for a 1 marker, they'll ask you expand SEBI, which most of the papers they ask you this question. So it's always better that you learn this particular topic, and it's the last topic in the chapter called Financial Markets. So what is SEBI? Okay, SEBI is nothing but it is Security Exchange Board of India. This is how SEBI looks. The headquarters of SEBI is in Bombay, that's called Mumbai. It has its branches scattered through Kolkata, Delhi and several other places, but the headquarters is in Bombay. Now, what exactly is the SEBI? You know that we were discussing in the last session, we were speaking about NSE, we were talking about BSE, the various stock markets and the stock exchanges. So basically, it is a platform where you can buy and sell shares or other securities. So what is this SEBI? SEBI is a market, or let's say it is opened by the government of India. It's headed by the government of India with the help of the Ministry of Finance. Okay, so what is the main purpose of SEBI? The main purpose of SEBI is that to see that the market is very authentic, there is no adulteration that's happening, and if there is any adulteration happening, it will ensure that it is cutting down the adulterators there itself. It may be the broker, it may be the participant, it can be anybody, and it's like a law government. It's like how you have a court where for whoever makes mistakes, you go to the court and you file a case. Like that, we have SEBI here, which checks the entire stock market system. So it is the head, and what do I say, it's like a big institution. Okay, so any NSE, BSE, everything gets registered and licensed under SEBI. Okay, so it is a government body which helps in the effective trading of security. Now, what exactly, I've just put it off in points here for you. When was it established? Yeah, I have the detailed notes also here, but if you learn it this way, it goes much more easier into your head. So that's the reason I have highlighted it this way. Now, it was established by the government of India in the year 1988. So I've already told you this. It was headed by the government of India. It opened by the government of India, and it is a statutory body. It became a statutory body in the year 1992. What is the meaning of statutory body? An independent body which can take decisions by itself. That is the people who are heading SEBI. That's the government of India people. They can take decisions by themselves. They don't require any other third party, person for them to help them. Now, where exactly is it located? It's located in the heart of city. It's located in Mumbai, okay, which I've already told you the headquarters is there. And we have other branches also, regional centers in Kolkata, Delhi, Chennai and Ahmedabad. Just like your like how you have your headquarters and all your branches scattered. Okay, so the basic points: SEBI is nothing but Securities Exchange Board of India. It was established in the year 1988, which became a statutory body, an independent body in the year 1992, and is located in Mumbai. That's the headquarters, and it has its regional offices in Kolkata, Delhi, Chennai and Ahmedabad. I hope this you have learned. Now, what is the main functions? We would come into it, but you have here as 4 simple points, but we would come to it. Now, what is this in detail? The same thing what you've learned, I put it down here into your notes. That's what I said. It's established by the government of India on 12th April 1988. The main reason for why you have SEBI is to promote orderly and healthy growth of security market, okay, and to ensure that the investors are protected, because investors are the ones who are investing a lot of money, believing in a lot of companies. So they have to ensure that these companies are authentic, the companies are not cheaters. So so if you have a government that is in place to check if the companies are authentic, to check if the brokers are authentic, that's the reason we have SEBI in place. Now, what is the overall function? The overall function is to ensure that the administrative is in the control of the government of India. When the administration is in control of government of India, people will be little careful when they deal with things. When they are thinking of cheating people, they will think twice. Why? Because once you get caught, you can be put behind bars. Okay, so the overall control is in the hands of Security Exchange Board of India, and it's headed by the Ministry of Finance, which I've already told you. I'll just underline that point here for you. Okay, then now what is the reason for the starting of SEBI? What is the purpose and what's the role of SEBI? Now, I've already told you, people have a lot of money, the organizations have a lot of money, and even the investors, we are the investors, we also, whatever small money we have, we want to ensure that we want to save it somewhere. So the best way where we can save it is through shares, investing it in shares. But we need to 100 times be careful before we invest our money into shares, because we need to do thorough study. It is riskier. So what is happening when there is an efficient government in place? What will happen? It helps to mobilize our savings, plus it helps in saving the resources of the organizations. Okay, so what is happening? It brings in good competition, healthy competition between one company and another, and it encourages innovation between companies as well as between the investors. How exactly, in which company can we invest? It's giving us education, it's teaching us by what means we can compete with ourselves to earn more money through shares, or where else can we invest money. So all these are the purposes for which this SEBI has been started by the government of India. Now, coming into more detail, okay, everything I put it in picture format so that you can understand it, and then later my notes come into picture. Okay, now what is the main purpose and the role of SEBI? We have three people here. We have the issuer, we have the investor, and we have the intermediaries. Okay, the issuer here is the company. So I'm going to write here company in the language I wish you understand my handwriting. Okay, investor is you. Okay, I'm going to write you here. Intermediary is the third party, where you have the banks, where you have the brokers who are in between us. All these are the intermediaries. An intermediary is a person who connects the company to the person. That's between you and the company. The intermediary comes in between. Okay, now the main purpose for what SEBI was set up is to check if there is any malpractices, okay, and to protect the interest of the investors. Why? Because investors are investing their small amount of savings into these particular organizations, and these investors don't have any education about how to buy shares and how to sell shares. Most of us do not know. Okay, so that's the thing. If it is headed by the government of India, people will be a little careful, and even the brokers will have a little fear of how exactly they're dealing with things. So now we will look into how exactly the role and the purpose of SEBI helps. Now, what is happening to the issuer? Again, I'm going to write here, issuer is nothing but company. Okay, in my handwriting. Investor is you. Okay, and intermediary is the banks and the third parties. Now, how is it helping the issuer? It is helping the issuer, that's the company, to easily trade their securities. That means what? It is giving the company a platform to easily trade, sell their securities in the market. And how is it giving how is it giving them a platform? It's giving them a platform which is fair enough, which is equal enough for all companies. You may be a company whose profit is 5 crore. You may be a company whose profit is just 10 lakhs, but still it's giving you a common platform. So what is happening? Companies are confidently going through this particular way of raising funds. Okay, so it's giving you an easy and an efficient manner. It's helping the companies to raise money. Now, how is it helping you? It is protecting your rights and it's protecting your interests. Wherever you feel you are scared that you'll get cheated, it's telling you, no, this is something that's provided by the government of India. You don't have to be scared of NSE. You don't have to be scared of BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange. All these people have registered through me. So I will help you and I will ensure that your money is not getting lost anywhere. Okay, so that's how it's helping. Now the third thing is it is helping intermediaries. Intermediaries are banks. It is the other third party people. So what is happening? Other your Bajaj Finance, your Mahindra Tech, all these people are there. So what is happening here? It is helping them to provide better services to the investors as well as to the issuers. So these are the three important words which plays a very important role. Okay, so there's no need for you to learn 2-3 sentences. You know these words: issuer, investor, intermediary. How is SEBI helping? The SEBI is helping issuers so that fair transactions and efficient fair transactions are done for raising money efficiently. Investors, it's helping so that the money is getting protected and they are having proper rights and proper interests are being taken care of. Intermediaries, it ensures that intermediaries are not cheating the investors and the issuers. That's the company. Fair deals are being made. Okay. So the next one, what is the reason for the establishment of Security Exchange Board of India? Way before Security Exchange Board of India was there, okay, that's way before 1988. We still had many companies who used to sell and buy, sell their shares, and people used to buy their shares. But there was a lot of malpractices which was happening. Okay, like what was happening? Price rigging. That means the company which is selling the shares for like 100 rupee a share, the broker will sell the share for 2000 rupees. So we do not know, right, how to buy and sell shares. People get cheated. And a lot of delivery issues of shares used to happen. Then unofficial premiums on new issue. Then violations of rules and regulations in the stock market. All this was taking place. So that is the reason people started losing their faith into the stock market. Okay, and they thought, okay, so let's stop investing our money into the stock market. That is the reason the government of India, I'll underline here, that is the reason the government of India started to set up a body, an independent body called Security Exchange Board of India. This is the basic purpose for which we have SEBI that is into place. So the next thing is, what is the objectives of SEBI? So far, what are the points we have seen? We have seen so far what is the main role of SEBI. Okay, that is, the role is nothing but investor, intermediary, and the issuer. Then we looked into what is the main reason why SEBI has been started: to protect the investors because people started losing their faith. And the third thing that we are seeing is objectives of SEBI. Same objectives, I put it down in point form, notes form, so that it's easy for you to understand, so that it's easy for you to take it down as notes. And then we move on to the functions of SEBI. Okay, so the objectives of SEBI will be asked for a 4-marker. Please ensure that you're marking it down somewhere. Okay, now what is the main objective of SEBI? Nothing but objectives means goals. By now all of you know objectives means goals. I'm sure you all know, right? So what is the main objectives? If you actually think and see, the main objective SEBI was started is to protect the rights of the investors. So this point by now you already know. Why? Because there was a lot of malpractices which was happening, because of which the investors was getting cheated. So that is the main purpose. The objective SEBI had started. Then what happened? Fair market they wanted to give. Why? Because the brokers were selling prices of shares at different prices. The company started cheating the investors by selling the shares at different prices. So what happened? A lot of malpractices and frauds were taking place in the stock market, where people started losing their hope. There was no rules and regulations that was followed before 1988. So once SEBI had come into place, SEBI has put proper rules and regulations. There's a proper code of conduct that's taken place. So people are scared. That's how people are scared. The companies and the brokers are scared that they cannot cheat the investors. So that is the main purpose, or that is the main objective of why it was set up. Now the same points I have put it up here. Okay, so you can probably elaborate and you can write your answer. Now the same points I've underlined it here. So to regulate the stock exchanges, okay, and the industries to promote orderly functioning, there is a proper step-by-step procedure which I've already taught you in the demat account and all that. Okay, then to protect the rights and interests of investors, particularly who individual investors. What is happening? To prevent the trading of malpractices, it's creating a balance between the investors and the issuers, so that there is no malpractices that's taking place by the company, plus there is no intermediaries who are cheating the investors. So it is developing a code of conduct. I already told you before 1988 there was no rules and regulations for the buying and selling of shares, by which people started cheating the let's say the investors. So what is happening? Even brokers started cheating. The merchant bankers also started. Merchant bankers are people who help in selling of shares. Okay, so with a view of making their competitive and professions. So everybody wanted to make an image, for which they started cheating the investors. So because of all this, people started losing their faith in SEBI. So that is the reason the government of India has started this independent statutory body. Okay. So now moving on to the next topic. Before I can step into the functions of SEBI, I wanted to show you how exactly the picture looks. Okay, that is this SEBI, the portal of SEBI or the website of SEBI. So I thought let me take a screenshot of it and upload it for you. So if you just type it into Google, you type in SEBI login, it takes you to the Security Exchange Board of India, where you can log in, you can do self-registration, you can ask any queries, you can, if you have been cheated, you can even register a complaint. There are a lot of tabs. So that is the reason I thought let me take a screenshot of the portal and show it to you, so that you can also learn how exactly you can do things. Okay, so probably if you can gain some time, or you have some time, just log in and see what are the various tabs. All these are things which you can invest your time, and you can learn a lot of things. Now moving down to the functions of SEBI, this topic is also a very important 8 marker when it comes to scoring in your exams. Okay, so I'm going to mark it important. That is, objectives of SEBI is also important. Functions of SEBI is also important. Okay, here this will come as an 8 marker, or they can ask you each particular topic for a 4 marker. So there are 3 important functions of SEBI. The first one is protective, second one is development, and third one is regulatory, or you can go in any order. First can be regulatory, second can be development, third can be protective. It can go in any order. Okay, so don't worry about the order. What is the reason these functions of SEBI were set up? The main objective of SEBI is to ensure that there is no malpractices, correct? So that is the reason these functions have been set up. Okay, that is protective function, developmental function, regulatory function. Now to look at detailedly, I have these points. Now if you learn only the points that's been highlighted, you can write it in your own words. Now what is this regulatory function? Regulatory function speaks about the entire SEBI as an independent statutory body. What all it does, what is its main objectives, how does it function, how is it taking care of things on a day-to-day process. So what do you have in a stock market? You have the brokers, you have many other brokers who help the investors to invest money. So before the brokers can register themselves with the stock market, with NSE, BSE and other stock markets, they have to first register with SEBI. Why? Because if SEBI is the head here, okay, I'm going to write it this way, okay. If SEBI is the head here, the tails are the stock markets, okay. This is where NSE comes and BSE comes. All this is in Bombay, right? So here, this is where NSE comes and this is where BSE comes. Okay, so these brokers are registered in NSE. So there are several brokers here who are registered in NSE. There are several brokers here who are registered in BSE and NSE. Okay, so what is happening here? You have several brokers who are registered in NSE and BSE. All these brokers are again registered in SEBI. Why? Because the NSE database and the BSE database, their reporting head is to SEBI. So all the registration of the brokers are done through SEBI. So no cheating can be done. Second point is registration of collective investment schemes. What is this collective investment schemes? This is a word that you need to understand. The investors invest their money in several other schemes. They not only buy shares, they also invest in mutual funds, they also invest in debentures, they also invest in preference shares, equity shares, whatnot the company is issuing. The investors are investing their money in different types of investment schemes. Yes or no? Yes. So what is happening here? The registration of all these different schemes, whatever schemes the company is raising, all this registration has to be done in SEBI, so that today, tomorrow, if the investor wants to check something, SEBI has detailed let's say portfolio, detailed information about the particular investment scheme. So it is like the government of India has details about whatever the company is doing, and it can provide all the information to the investors, so the investors can safely invest into these schemes. That's the meaning of collective investment schemes. Third one is regulation. Regulation means what? It is regulating, it is bringing into form a proper structure for the brokers, for portfolio exchange, for underwriters, mercantile. All these are people who will help you to buy security. So what is happening? Before, there was no regulation, there was no rules, there was no regulations, there was nothing into place. So now it is bringing all the rules and regulations and proper structure it is keeping into place for all these people. And all these are people, underwriters and all are people who buy shares and sell shares to the investors. So for all these people, there is a proper regulation that they have to follow. Then regulation of taking bids by companies. What is this word called takeover bids? Takeover bids means if the investor wants to buy a maximum amount of shares, okay, that's like, let's say 50% of the shares or 100%, whatever the percentage may be that the investor wants to buy. The regulation of those bids, that means whatever percentage the company has to sell, the highest bid, the highest number of shares, all this has to be informed to SEBI, or they have to be properly legalized, because the companies will be there permanently in register through SEBI. So initially itself they have to mention what will be the highest percentage a public can buy the shares. Let it be 40% or 50% or 70%. What is the percentage? So the takeover bids is nothing, the price that the shares are being sold for. What is the maximum percentage the people can buy the shares for? All this has to be regulated, and all this has to be informed to SEBI. Now, the fifth point is calling for information by undertaking inspection. What is it? Anytime people from SEBI can walk over or go to the stock exchanges and check if the audits are, if they are doing a proper job. They can anytime have a raid on the stock exchanges and check their audits, check their files, check all the details of the intermediaries, check the broker details. All of a sudden they can do it, okay, and they can inspect them and check if the things are going on perfect or if there's any malpractices. All these are regulatory functions. Then levying fees. Levying fees means what? If there is any penalties, if there is any charges that the company has to pay, they have not followed any rules and regulations, the company has to pay a certain amount. If the investors are cheating the broker or the company somewhere, they have to pay a fees. Same thing goes with the brokers also, because it is all provided by the government of India, so it's all legalized. Then the last one is performing and exercising such powers under security. So there is an act into place. Act into place means what? There is laws into place, there's rules and regulations which into place that's set up by the government of India. So nobody can cheat anybody here. It's all transparent and it's all easy to function. So these are the regulatory functions. If you just look into those words, it's easy. It's really easy for you. If you just read this particular points, and this particular topic, regulatory function, can be asked for a 4-marker. Okay. So the next one is developmental functions. Now who is developing themselves here? First one is training of intermediaries. Intermediaries can be mercantile bankers, they can be brokers, they can be bank people, okay? They can be anyone here who can help the companies or help the investors to buy shares. Before they can help investors buy their shares, they themselves need to be trained what exactly or how exactly they need to help people to buy their shares. Without proper training, nobody can just enter into investing their money. Then it would end up into a huge loss. Next one is conducting researches and publishing information. So what is happening here? SEBI ensures that they are researching into new and new information. Okay, so there's a lot of research done. They have a research team also, which does a lot of research work and publishes information. And so that which is educational wise, the brokers are also understanding how exactly the market works, as well as it helps to provide education to the investors. If they want to get educational facilities, they can learn by how things are done. Okay, and they themselves can later invest their money into these particular stock exchanges. So third one is undertaking measures to develop the capital market. So what is happening here? The stock markets cannot go down. The stock markets, only the stock market, if the bull market is going on, then there is no unemployment. The stock markets are doing good. So what is happening? There is development measures that has to take place in the capital market. If there is no development because of the pandemic, the capital market refers to what? The shares and debentures and all these things, long-term security is being sold. So because of this pandemic situation, the capital market has gone down. So what is happening? SEBI will ensure it undertakes ensure that the stock markets are going high, people are investing money, and people can earn money as well. So all these are the developmental functions of SEBI. The next one is uh, protective functions. Now what is this protective functions? It helps unfair trade practices. That means it helps to cut down the unfair trade practices, so that there is no frauds happening, there is no misleading happening, there's no malpractice or price rigging happening. Everything is crystal clear. The investors' money has been protected. All these it takes care. Then controlling insiders trading and imposing penalties. If there is any penalty that has to be paid by the broker, why? Because he's been cheating the investors, or the company is cheating the investors, the company is undergoing loss. But what is the company doing? They are selling fake shares at a high price, and then we understand that the company has undergone a huge loss and people's money and all is lost. So the company has to pay penalty, huge amount of penalty to the government, because it's cheating the government indirectly. Then undertaking steps for investors protection. So what is happening? Before you start off, there's a proper educational system that's been followed here. There is they tell you, please read to the rules and regulations, understand it, and then invest your money into it. So what are they doing? They are well informed. They're giving you protection for the money that you're investing. It may be 5 rupees, it may be 100 or 1,000 or 1 crore. They're ensuring that they are protecting your money, and they're ensuring that there is a code of conduct into place. Okay, there are rules and regulations that companies have to follow, the intermediaries have to follow, as well as you have to follow. Okay, so there are things that is into. Now these were the 3 important functions of SEBI, that is regulatory function, developmental function, okay, and the organizational function. Now what is this what is the next one that we are seeing? What is the organization structure of SEBI? Now it is, this topic may come, may not come, just go through it. Now, how exactly you're going to learn it? Just know that every organization has departments that you know, that's your common business studies thing. Now, even SEBI, as an independent institution, has its departments, has various departments which is headed by executives, it's headed by various directors. Now, you also know that its headquarters is present in Bombay, and it has regional offices which is in Kolkata, Chennai, Delhi. Now, what is happening? The main reason it has its branches is because as an entity only headed in Bombay, it is difficult for people's problems to be adhered or listened. That is the reason they have other branches where any people who are coming from those states can also directly go to those particular branches. Then it has two committees, advisory committees. One is from the primary market and one is from the secondary market. That means there's a group which comes in from the primary market, groups which comes in from the secondary market, where they help SEBI, Security Exchange Board of India, to gain a lot of let's say lot of information of what is happening, what should be done, what should not be done. As well as there is a committee. So if you actually see, SEBI is headed by the government of India, all of us know. The government of India has various departments below them, okay, where there's a director, there's a lot of heads, as well as they have people from various other states. They have people from they have advisory committee, they have teams from the primary market and from the secondary market. So you can actually create a mind map here, okay? So the mind map is very simple. What you can actually create, you can create departments here. Then you can create, let's say you can create let's say branches here, okay? Then you can create a committee here, and then you can create what, let's say market players here. Market players are us, okay? We are investors, the brokers, the investors, all of us are market players. So then we will come here. So this will be the organizational structure from SEBI. So what is happening? It's gaining a lot of information from various other participants, and it's ensuring that its objectives, its goals are into place. That's protecting the investors' money. Okay, so these are the organizational structure, and you again have the building here which I put, because when you relate to what you're studying to reality, pictures and all these, it's going to be easy for you to learn. Okay, so what is happening here? The two objectives of the two committees. The two committees are the primary market and the secondary market. So what is happening? It regulates the intermediaries, nothing but it's again the same point. You just go through it. It's not really very important. And the advice of SEBI on issues of, so what is the committee is doing? They are advising SEBI about various development of primary market and how investors can be protected in the primary market. All these things are. Now, coming down to the mind map of the chapter, these are the topics what we covered today: reasons of establishment, role and purpose, objectives, functions, and the organizational structure. Please remember, all these topics will be asked for 4 markers and 8 markers. Very, 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 very important. So please ensure for every chapter you have a mind map in place and you understand what is important. I already told you in the last session, we don't have this particular topic, it's cancelled. But apart from that, everything else is very important in this particular chapter. So thank you. Please ensure any doubts you have, any comments you have, I would be really happy to assist you and really happy to help you as well. Probably you didn't have you couldn't understand NSE and BSE better, but please understand, SEBI is Government of India, headed by the Government of India, a department. It's a statutory body, and below that is what NSE and BSE comes. Okay, so NSE and BSE is registered through SEBI. Okay, so any doubts, any comments, any improvements that you want me to make, I would be happy to help you. Thank you so much. Like the videos if you really like it, so that it helps you and it helps others as well. Thank you so much.